Hey guys.
You know, in one of my videos, hey guys, this is Tanner here. In one of my videos, I talked about dogs. Well, I think it's time we do the Ouroboros and talk about God. That's right, today we are talking about God. If you don't want to watch this video, you can skip it. You can go to another one of mine, or you can check someone else out. That's perfectly fine. But today I want to talk to you, the listener, the viewer, about God. And how God is, when you really start to think about it, a mere delusion of ignorance, of not knowing about things from a different era. Allow me to explain. You know how there used to be polytheistic religions, like the Greek pantheon and the Nordic pantheon, and of course the Egyptian gods? And it goes on and on and on. Can't forget out the Mayans, the Aztecs, all these guys. Monotheism. Well, monotheism polytheism. Sorry. Polytheism, as we know it, was mostly just a way for people to comprehend why the world works in the way it does. Which, now that it's been a minute, I can fucking swear. God damn! Basically, these fuckers, these dumbasses, didn't know how we were new. We were a new species. Not really, but we were developing. We were in our developmental stages. We didn't know how things worked. Our only explanation for how weather formations turned up and why the seasons changed had to be, since we didn't have the scientific advancement to investigate these things, these phenomenon, we just used the only thing that our brains could think of. It has to be a higher being. It has to be God or gods. But then we see a shift, a major shift in this movement of trying to understand how the world works by getting rid of the other gods. Getting rid of the weather god and the love god and the war god and the blacksmithing god, etc., etc., etc. And we shift our focus because time progresses. We start investigating how the world actually works, and we take it and we shrink it. We cut it down to one. There is one true Almighty God. But then we progress even more. And we discover, we start poking holes in this argument. And my favorite argument against God, and I don't necessarily believe this, per se, is that it is a delusion from an era in which we did not know. We didn't know. We didn't have the scientific method. We didn't have this and we didn't have that. And I feel that we can prove this very easily. If you are a man of science, then religion, as an institution, fits right in with what you believe. Fits right in. And yet, there are so many religious folk out there, that just deny. They deny. They say, no. Weather formations, it's all part of God's plan. It's not like these are two separate beings. This is all one and the same. And it's like, well, no. No. Because the implications of such a deranged, delusional thought go very, very, very deeper than just God. God doesn't know how the weather works. Because the implication, it starts to fall apart. The facade starts to crack when you think. When you start to think. Well, if weather and weather formations and how the world functions is out of God's sight, then how much more is out of God's sight? Sure, God may have created the world, But does God know what's going on down here? Is my question. That's why I am more sympathetic and empathetic with the ancient alien theory that, God wasn't so much the almighty force of our universe, rather than just another being that passed through. And again, that's assuming that it's real, and that's a big fucking leap of logic to make. A big leap of logic to make. Massive. The only other conclusion that I can find is that it's delusion. It's delusion. Simple as. Think about it. I'll give you an example. The gods gifted us with the ability of free will, which is great. I love being able to do whatever the fuck I want. There's a massive fucking plot hole here, though. And it's a classic argument. If God gave us the ability to do whatever we want, then God isn't as almighty as we say. Why? Well, I'll explain. You can't be omnipresent and all-powerful at the same time, unless this implies that your moral compass is just fucking nowhere. And we can make the argument that God doesn't have morality, except for the fact that the entirety of the Christian Bible and the Quran and the Torah are all about evil versus good, morality as a concept, as a construct. So how the fuck is your deity of these religions going to be such a dumbass that he creates a seemingly perfect being that can defy him, disobey him in every capacity, but it's out of his all-giving love that he forgives you? Well, now, wait a minute, wait a fucking second. There's a huge fucking problem here. There's a huge problem, guys. Don't you understand? If he created a being that goes against him in every way, then that either means one of two things. God made a mistake, or he just isn't as powerful as we think. Now, I personally come to a conclusion that is different. I just don't waste my time with these thoughts of delusion, and I just not accept, but rather presume that it is more likely that this being just isn't real. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about, guys. Bye. How's it going? Tanner here. We're gonna switch things up a little. We're just gonna talk to you. No goofy intro. No jokes to even get us into another segue. Just completely free of mind. And yes, I understand that this may not appeal to exactly everyone, but